Terraria has a new dual dungeon seed as well as several new variations of the dungeon you can get in your world. It's a lot of new dungeon stuff, and that made the little hamster inside my head run on its rusty wheel until it came up with the idea that maybe these new dungeon structures could make Terraria beatable without ever leaving the dungeon. To make this possible, we're looking for something specific with the world seed. For one, only specific variations of the new dungeons guarantee an accessible wooden chest. This is going to be necessary for the rest of the run to work. Why? For one, it gives us access to wood. Without wood, we can't make a workbench, and since Slime Rain can't occur until we have 140 health, we can't get King Slime for a slime workbench either. We need that workbench to get the NPCs for renewable resources. There are also grenades, potions, and other weapons we'll need to take out Skeletron. Oh, right. Did I mention that we have to do this while also dealing with Skeletron? So somehow we have to defeat Skeletron with only the gear we find within the top layer of the dungeon. Now you might be wondering, what does it even mean to leave the dungeon? Well, for the sake of this challenge, this is what it means. We are not allowed to leave the naturally generated dungeon. This means at all times, some part of my character, including hooks and mounts, must be touching some part of the dungeon. So I can walk on the exterior of the dungeon, but we'll say that we can't mine tunnels beneath it like this. This prevents us from simply mining a tunnel around the border of the dungeon at the start. I also can't place more dungeon blocks and consider it the dungeon. It must be within the naturally generated structure. So let's see how far we can get. Immediately, we grab the starting chest loot. We now have access to wood for a workbench and to make future housing, throwing knives for Skeletron and grenades to get the demolitionist for more grenades and bombs, also to fight Skeletron with. We also have rope, healing, and iron skin potions to help. Now we'll break every pot and hope for some good drops. We collect rope, bombs, healing potions, shurikens, and money primarily. Now keep in mind that everything we just got is non-renewable until we get NPCs here.
Now we need to make some housing and try to get some people to spawn here. We have bombs and stuff, and if we're able to get a bunch of bombs, we can get the demolitionists to appear, and then we just need to figure out how we're going to get a bunch of money, and we can use grenades against Skeletron.
Now of course with our limitations, it's literally impossible to beat the game completely since there is no way to take down all 4 pillars from the dungeon. But I think I can make it much farther in progression than you would assume. We have 94 wood. We'll make a workbench, but we have to be careful with how we spend our wood.
We need a hammer. That is necessary. So now we have that. So we're able to get into the dungeon, then we can use the bone welder to make all the stuff that we want.
By that, I mean furniture. We may want houses for Skeletron, but we want to be as conservative as possible since bone furniture will be basically free in the future.
First things first, we're just going to mine all the way down to where the dirt is and see if we can find ores, maybe even some treasure that is accessible.
What you may not know about the dungeon is that the top layer of the dungeon can be mined with any pickaxe. It becomes unmineable only when you reach the part of the dungeon where the guardian can spawn. This lets us grab some more blocks, including stone, which we'll need if we want a furnace, which might not be necessary, but I mean, we can at least make it. Now, technically, I could maybe have walked on the top of this thing and mined through the blocks that way, but to embrace the spirit of this challenge, we won't be doing that. And since we can't simply mine tunnels around the dungeon, and we won't be able to get the molten pickaxe to mine tunnels through the dungeon brick lower in the ground, the only way to access materials on the outskirts of the dungeon later on will be with hoiks. That's why the hammer was important. I just generally hate hoiks and never use them, so there was some learning.
It's not going anymore.
Let's just say it required watching a Sorbet Cafe video.
Hammer it once, down as you walk, and you will ignore the collision of the next tile.
Moving along, we need to figure out suitable housing. At first, I thought that the dungeon walls would work, but turns out those need to be broken and replaced. This is one reason the dirt was important, to make walls out of those, but then I learned you can't actually break those until post-Skeletron, and as optimistic as I am about my ability to defeat Skeletron in Classic Mode, it won't work if I don't have NPCs, because we simply don't have enough ammo. But that's where the new dungeons become very important, because these dungeon brick walls may not count as safe, but the stained glass ones do. Not only that, but they are the perfect size for a minimalist NPC prison.
We got it! Oh!
With 8 windows here, we can get more than enough NPCs before the Skeletron battle.
I really don't want to spend more of our wood but I'm not sure I have a choice. I just know that we need the demolitionist. So I think we'll eat the cost for very limited wood to get the demolitionist. And he should spawn since we have bombs, and I don't think we have what we need to get the merchant to spawn yet.
Now, having these NPCs would be amazing, but we need money to actually purchase grenades, and this lucky pinky will give us quite the boost in our funds. Now, the left side gave us dirt and stone, but the right side provides something else that'll likely be impossible to find elsewhere. Sand. Not only that, but a water source. The beautiful thing about sand is that it falls, so we can get way more blocks this way than on the other side. But we also can make bottles for potions, which might not be that big of a deal because potion ingredients will be near impossible to find, so we might not be able to actually make hardly any of them. We don't need the sand for blocks though, that's for sure, because now that we have 25 or more dirt, we can make dirt bombs, which gives us an infinite source of dirt, which can also be crafted into mud. How well creating other biomes in the dungeon will work is a totally open question, but with NPCs now, we have one last task to be completed. Mining out every single dungeon block we can to make a new Skeletron arena. This is what we have for the future arena and future biomes we'll try to create inside the space. One of those biomes I wanted to create was the desert, but unfortunately we only got 500 sand and you need 1.5k to make a desert biome. So no infinite sand, but we'll leave it here and see if it grows a little cactus. With all the blue dungeon brick, we line this place with blue dungeon brick platforms. We're pretty set for Skeletron now. We just need night to come, and in the meantime we can collect bait for fishing, because if you know anything about limited runs like this, fishing is the key to everything.
Darn it, I need stuff that's worth money. Oh wait, I have this one gold that I saved. Yes! Net.
But how am I going to get bait while trapped in the dungeon? Well, this is where the pile of sand comes in handy. Scorpions are bait, and I left a patch of sand holding up the water on the right side, and scorpions will crawl up that and onto my front door from time to time. Actually much more reliably than they do on the patch of sand that I made. But this whole thing hinges on our ability to defeat Skeletron. No mobility accessories, no minecarts, limited ammunition. We have to do this.
Drink our iron skin. Okay. We're actually doing pretty good. I'm so glad I chose classic mode. Expert, this would not be going well. Okay, his defense is lower in his spinning phase. For some reason, I thought it was higher. I'm good at the game. I'm good at the game. I should have brought a campfire down here. Get away, get away, get away. Oh, there we go, like all are throwing knives. So let's start using grenades. If only grenades bounced on platforms. Why didn't they add that? Okay, hit the hand, hit the hand, hit the hand. Ah, come on. Oh no. Oh, we're getting hit, we're getting hit. Run, run. No!
Now, I'll be honest, I saved a backup copy of the character and world file before fighting because I figured that would be actually, necessary, since I thought we had limited weapons and supplies, but actually I could have just farmed money for more grenades, so that was actually just unnecessary. With that said, we move to our next attempt, but this time, remember that this specific type of dungeon has campfires on the tops, so we grab one of those for free. This brings us to our second attempt.
There we go. Dude, grenades are unreasonably effective against Skeletron in classic mode.
Once both hands were down, it merely became a game of
don't hit myself with a grenade, and we win.
The Skeletron has been defeated without ever leaving the dungeon.
Huge, we now have access to a lot, but we kind of need a new weapon. Oh no.
Since we've reached this point, you might now be wondering how we could possibly defeat the Wall of Fresh without leaving the dungeon. And that's a very good question. It might be entirely impossible while following all the rules, but I have a plan, and then we'll get to that when it's time. For now, very early into the dungeon, we find a very important, totally world generalized item that'll be a massive help.
And we can absolutely hoik to that. We have access to a demon altar.
Looting gold chests, we're looking for a few items in particular.
The Ram Rune and its warding and suspicious looking eye. Oh, heck yeah. And we got some tungsten.
Whatever ores and bars we find in these chests are also very valuable, giving us a jump start on those things before we need to fish for them.
Also, now that we have beaten Skeletron, in theory, we can break the dungeon brick walls. Ooh.
If you don't know about the Ram Rune, let's just say finding it in the first chest in the dungeon may have been the best thing we could have asked for.
I forgot this thing is busted.
Using its ground pound ability will be literally the only way we will ever have fall immunity in this run. It also provides an AoE attack around the player that knocks back enemies, making it perfect for a low health, no armor little dude like me. Now, killing Skeletron may have been more important than some of you realize. Killing Skeletron gives us access to the Dryad, who sells grass seeds and all kinds of other very important things that make wood a potentially now renewable resource. She also sells purification powder, which will become important later. For now, we need to find our way through the dungeon, which is quite difficult without any mobility accessories.
It's going to be slow going, getting through the dungeon, guys. Slow going. I keep forgetting I have the Ram Rune. I should be using this to fight off enemies. It is so much better than any weapon that I have. Great knockback, good damage. Who needs a weapon when I can just be a Jumpman Mario? They're everywhere! Stop! Stop! Get away! Oh my goodness. The spawns out of nowhere with the flame wheels too! No! Get away! Stop! I'm hopping mad! Get rid of the library. Oh!
One thing about the dungeon is that some of the best weapons inside are mage weapons, which means we need to collect what stars we can that happen to fall on this place. Thankfully, since it's the top of the dungeon, we're free to walk on top of it to grab these. Now, navigating the underground dungeon isn't nearly as simple. You might be surprised how dangerous crumbling blocks are with no hook, no extra jumps, and also having very little weaponry to defend yourself with. What makes it really tough are the new librarian enemies, because they function like the Darkcaster, but you can't break their projectile with your weapon. You have to dodge it.
Okay, now I'm starting to realize the librarians are a lot more scary because you can't break their projectiles. If they could just leave me alone, that'd be great.
But we're making progress. We found that Aqua Scepter, and our next weapon is a blue moon, and a bone welder was in that same treasure chest. Wood might be renewable, but now bones are much more renewable. With our newly acquired weapons, we can also take down the Eye of Cthulhu, but not for the shield. This is classic mode after all. More importantly, I want the corrupt seeds. With this, we can make a corruption biome, and since we have access to a demon altar, we'll be able to make the Eater of Worlds summon for better armor. It'll take a while, but it's an option. Oh, I also just got that Abigail on the little bit of grass I made in the dungeon.
Oh, Scorpion, come back. No, come back. No, oh no, it ran off the dungeon. Dang it.
Exploring the dungeon, we obtained the Valor, the handgun.
There we go. Now we can get the arms dealer.
And a librarian lights up a treasure chest on top of the dungeon. This is one that we can access with hoiks.
I am blanking hard on how to do this. The guide, it returns. Sorbet Cafe, teach us your ways. I think in the video I wanted to say thanks Sorbet Cafe for sponsoring this video. like that. Aha! There we go. Okay, we successfully hoiked outside. We'll mine up all these blocks. We can be standing on the dungeon. There we go. We can get a regular golden treasure chest. If it's a mace, I'm going to be actually upset. All right, what do we get?
My disappointment is immeasurable. Now, since this is a small world, there aren't a whole lot of locked golden chests either, which might make you wonder why I went with a small world in the first place. The reason is that small worlds tend to be more scrunched together, which I figured would increase the likelihood of finding demon altars or various biomes crossing into the dungeon down here. Having access to biomes and pre-generated structures is far more important in my mind than treasure chests whose contents we can fish for.
Oh, terrible, Muramasa. Thanks for that game. I might not be able to ever reforge it too. That's rough.
That was our last chest, and there's a glowing mushroom just outside the dungeon here, but with no access to any of its open areas, I'm not sure we can actually benefit from it being nearby. So for all intents and purposes, we have explored our entire world. Now it's just time to try and make more biomes, so we expand the space the corruption can expand to, and that pool of water we left outside the dungeon makes it easy for us to turn dirt into mud. Planting a corrupt seed on this and then purifying it gives us a jungle biome. Now wood has not been very renewable as none of the saplings have grown so far, but I think that maybe all I need to do is break these walls. Turns out that's exactly what I needed to do.
Now we can get more trees.
Now comes the fishing segment of the game. A number of events in the game require we have a minimum of 120 health, some 140 health like the slime rain, which is a weird number to me, and others 200 like the goblin invasion. But I haven't seen any goblin scouts anyway, so that might be out of reach regardless. All we want from fishing are crates, or accessories and bars. The first batch gives us nothing but enough tungsten to make a helmet.
Oh. What is this? What the? What was that? Huh? Raven feather? What the heck is this? What's a raven feather?
Turns out this thing does nothing but lower your luck, which, like, why? You have what I assume is a super rare event or enemy or whatever that thing was, and it drops an item that lowers your luck without telling you it does so. Stupid item, I want an actual use.
Why does it exist? Why is it a thing? Yes, we're going to add an item. We're not going to tell you that it decreases your luck, but it does. So while you're holding on to it like an idiot, thinking maybe it's something useful, we'll just be casually decreasing your luck. Okay.
This entire run, we've been waiting for a traveling merchant, and he finally showed up. After defeating Skeletron, he can sell the Sitting Ducks fishing pole, which would be a massive boost, but he didn't have it. The best fishing pole we can get right now is the Fisher of Souls, because the Mechanics fishing pole is not sold unless you have the Angler. And of course, we can't access the ocean, so no Angler for us, sadly.
Dragonflies are fast. Hiya. Oh, you guys saw nothing. You saw absolutely nothing. Wow, we got some dragonflies completely legit.
I swear fishing has become harder since the update, which isn't making this very easy to do. Getting life crystals that way in particular is nearly impossible. I also continue to request that broken lines get removed. This is already RNG reliant and tedious. Why are you adding a random chance to simply get nothing while also consuming your bait? It's especially awful in a run where bait can be hard to obtain, but now that we have a small jungle biome, we at least have access to more reliable baits. Still, it'd be better to get life crystals on the outskirts of the dungeon if at all possible, but that relies on them being within reach, unlike this one. It seemed out of reach, but someone from chat had a galaxy brain idea. The heart is above a section of the dungeon we can walk on, so if we hoik onto the outskirts, we can blow up the ground beneath the crystal until it's obtainable.
Oh, there it is. Oh! Thank you, Ice Torch, for making it easier to see what's going on. So I need to somehow get that. If we blow up... Oh no. Ah! Oh, no. Oh, of course you got a librarian. The one worst mob we could have asked for here. Abigail, can you deal with that? No? Great. Probably have to tank this. Oh, wait a minute. Live crystal! Finally!
Took nearly a half hour to grab that, but we got some more health. Now for the rest of it. Well, then again, maybe we shouldn't get the life crystals quite yet until we can verify that beating the wall is even possible. If it's not, then I guess this run is already over.
We need to figure out whether or not we're able to throw the guide into the lava out here and summon the wall. Like, is this close enough to the underworld? That's the question.
It was actually harder than I thought it would be to build this little house outside the dungeon while always touching the dungeon, but it worked. We can move the guide here so we can drop him into the lava below. Perhaps the cooler thing about this is that we can actually buy instead of a cave pylon.
We have much easier transportation. I never thought I would have a pylon network in this world. That was not in my bingo card, but here we are.
This extra house will make sure the pylon is still usable after we sacrifice the guide, and now is the time that we'll see if throwing him into lava in this layer will work.
Okay, wall. No wall. Okay. Well, now we blast a hole straight down. Hope that works.
I was really hoping that would work because there is no telling if lava will even be below us in the underworld or what the guide will land on. Fingers crossed, it'll work. In the meantime, we got a tiny bit more lead while fishing, letting us make a sawmill, which then lets us make a keg.
And now we can make beer! Yes! That we can consume for a little extra fishing power. Why is it only 2-minute duration, man?
There are several things we still need lead or iron for, with buckets and the heavy assembler in particular sticking out as particularly necessary. Plus, we are still hoping for more accessories.
Aglet! Alright. And gold crate! No! Why are life crystals not guaranteed from gold crates? Come on! Sailfish, but is that a wording? What's with all the wording stuff I'm getting? Let's go. Now we got some defense. We got 13 defense. Only 4 of it is coming from the tungsten helmet.
All right, the guide is back, and I have not tested this at all.
Let's see what happens. Okay, he has made it into the underworld. We can spawn the wall! Oh, that's huge! That is so huge! Okay, it's going to drag me down, right? It's not going to drag me down. Oh. Whoa! We can stay in the dungeon and maybe kill the wall at the same time.
I really thought I'd have to bend my rules a bit to beat the wall, but this is actually possible. It just begs the question, how do you defeat the wall of fresh without ever entering the underworld? We'll get to that, but we need to do some prep for my idea to work. Luckily for us, we found a ruby somewhere around the dungeon, and crates gave us enough gold bars for a crown, and at a demon altar, we can make a slime crown. With that, all we need is one specific drop from King Slime.
Slime hook, there we go.
Now, I just want to reiterate or make clear that this entire run is very RNG reliant, and likely wouldn't be possible without several factors lining up perfectly. This slime hook, for instance, will give us far more reach outside the dungeon per the rule that a hook connected to the dungeon counts as us still touching it. However, this hook has only a 33% drop chance from King Slime, and there's no guarantee there'd be any rubies anywhere around the dungeon in the first place. On top of that, there is no shimmer that can ever be accessed, meaning certain resources are truly limited. For this reason, this run is more theoretical than practical, as you need the right seed, luck, and for the upcoming wall battle, godly precision to do it without ever resetting.
We got rotten chunks now. I don't know why we weren't getting them earlier.
With vile mushrooms growing and rotten chunks dropping, the Eater Worlds is within reach, allowing for a real armor set, Shadow Armor, to finally be crafted, and potentially the Tavern Keep could show up, which does open up some handy gear and hard mode armors. But I don't know if he can appear in the dungeon, so I guess we'll see about that. Now, we've been getting lots of cavefish, and lucky me, a blink root happened to be within our reach, so we can actually make endurance potions in the future. But we're going to stop fishing because life crystals from that are stupid rare. It'd be smarter to drink a Spelunker potion that I had found in one of the crates to see if there are life crystals around the dungeon.
Well, there goes my one chance to easily find life crystals in the area. That's great.
With the naked eye, we still see one out there. This requires a bit of bomb action like the previous one to make it fall on top of some of the dungeon blocks so we can grab it easily. 140 health means Slime Ream can start, but that's not so important now. We're aiming for 200 so all the other natural events can happen. Maybe another crate will have some Spelunker potions, but instead of that, we're going to start preparing the area for the wall of fresh. With a hook, we can get underneath and clear out all the blocks below this area. See, the strategy we're going for is one I learned in my 1 Year 1 World series, that strategy being dropping copious amounts of golders on the boss. They are unreasonably effective against the worm, but who is to say how well they'll work against the wall? The number of golders I can line up here isn't that impressive, but trust the process. This is only the first iteration to trust the viability of golders.
That's a gold worm! Gold worm!
It'd be smart to do a little more gearing up before pressing on a hard mode. Killing the worm, for instance, which lets us craft
full shadow armor. We actually have some defense now, not to mention the added mobility, which is just going to be very handy.
So here's the first attempt against the wall. We drop a few golders, deal some damage, which is very important, but then the golders killed me.
The golders went all the way up here?
See, golders only home in onto your position at a certain range. I figured they wouldn't home onto me up here, but turns out they will, which works great for potentially dealing more damage to the wall or making up for missing because now we get the boulders to bounce up and down, but we need to also not die to these before the wall does.
A meteor has landed. Hot dog. Did it land next to the dungeon?
One thing that the wall test taught us was that this is definitely not enough boulders, but how could we add more boulders while keeping them within the reach of the dungeon? That is where the actuation rod comes into play. I should have made this forever ago because I could have, and it would have been really helpful. Unfortunately for us, we can't make the grand design without a tinker's workshop, so we're stuck with each individual component and placing each wire one by one like some sort of idiot. These actuators allow us to open up this lower area. We will open it more for more golders, but we might as well practice our aim with these switches.
I'm missing? Oh, I'm missing. Oh, it's already way past us. Ah!
Good practice. Now let's enable the use of much more boulders. I'm sure with more of them, we can make this work.
We did 700 damage while hitting it with only one of our golder traps.
But amidst the wall prep, we did get more Spelunker potions, so we're going to see if we can get more health before entering hard mode, and actuators are going to make our lives so much easier.
Ah, man, we're not seeing any more. No more life crystals. That's not great. A chillet egg!
With some tactical use of the grappling hook and bombs, we were able to collect the egg and get the chillet to mount. This one might not be all that helpful at all, but it's fun we got it. We also found one more life crystal, putting us at 1 180.
Oh, we're so close.
We collected a bunch of stone for Goulders while we were out here, and even found an accessible ruby cave of all things. And there was one more chest within our reach with a band of regen, which is something we couldn't have gotten without that chest, so that's cool. This leaves us with very little to do but defeat the wall. This is one of the biggest places where the theory of this run is more required, because stone is not renewable, at least not without the shimmer. So what we're going to do is back up the world files and restart every time that we fail until we figure out how to finish this thing off in a single blow.
We did 2,000 damage to it. Now. Oh, ah! Oh, well. Oh, okay. That was pretty good.
I tried again, but I'm thinking that
3,000 might be the max that we can do, or 5,000 might be the max damage we can do.
we need more Goulders. More Goulders means more damage, and so it's time to move these houses up here, collect more stone, rewire everything so I can use pressure plates rather than switches, and then line this thing with more Goulders. There's still some prep I'd like to do for hard mode, and I gotta thank my lucky stars because we found the Tavern Keep.
Yes! Oh!
With how awful getting materials from fishing will be, the Old One's army is our best bet for good armor in the future. We were also lucky enough to find a goblin statue in the dungeon, and so this extremely RNG-reliant find will allow us to farm tattered cloth for a goblin army.
Though we still need 200 health to actually summon the thing.
What you're about to hear and see is nearly 3 hours of work and struggling to defeat the Wall of Fresh.
All right, here we go. They did a good bit of damage, but not enough. Darn it. Well, that's not going very well. We did better when we had fewer boulders. Need this to work. Send it a little bit earlier than usual. 4,000, 5,000 damage. I thought that's how much we did before we increased how many we have here. Oh man, are we gonna need to increase the size of this thing even more? Are there any blocks that are in the way here? Make sure that all the Goulders are in fact going all the way down.
Jumping in here real quick, I figured we should be allowed to jump out of the dungeon as long as we just fall and accept death. We can attack and what have you and grab things along the way, but I figured this was a little different from what you could do in Skyblock. I don't know, it just made it easier to find the tiny single block barriers that were stopping the Goulders.
Okay, let's say, all right, he's right there. Go. All right. Keep going. More damage. More. No. Yes. Okay, we did more damage. And I think we have part of the strat. I need to keep on running. If I keep on running, the Goulders will follow me and potentially follow the wall. So we want the boulder itself to hit the wall, and then we need to keep moving so the ghost part of it will hit the wall. I never expected so much technical ability to be required of dropping boulders. All right, that was a little bit better. Yes. Oh! 1,248! We need a lot more dynamite to blow up more areas below the dungeon over here. Maybe we could get in some more strikes if we do. No! Oh, that wasn't the one. 800! And we'll use this. Give ourselves some more boulders. All right, here we go. Oh, didn't mean to fall. 857. 874. I swear that's the same amount of health that I had last time. Okay. Still not it. Wow, we did actually pretty poorly that time. Way behind on the second round of boulders. Okay, I've lost my touch. 844. No, 345. Just a little bit better and we get it. Oh, not too bad. I missed. Oh, no. Darn it. Raw. Okay, that's a lot. Yes. Oh, those all missed. No! 811. Okay, okay. No! 337! 966, 755, 690. Okay, we did good. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, I messed it up. I messed it up. Go down a little bit. Drop. Oh, I did. 155! Oh, we were so close. Guide, jump. Jump. I know you've been learning, Mr. Guide Man. Now jump! You darn. The guide hacks the system and deletes my save files. Okay, good, good, good. Good damage. Yes! Finish it! Yes! Only needed 24 damage with a non-boulder. I think that's a win.
Would have been nice to have only used Goulders, but there was a little more space we could have added another row or two to. So I think we have well improved it possible and done it legit-ish. But now that we're in hard mode, there are a lot of possibilities and a lot of limitations we face. For one, neither the Hollow nor Corruption spawn in the vicinity of the dungeon. We'll have to create both of those ourselves, but to make room for them, I need a pickaxe, and now that we're in hard mode, we can fish for hard mode ores. Issue with that is that it takes absolutely forever to do, even when you have a proper fishing setup, which I am sorely lacking. There is a possible alternative to this, or at least some hard mode ore. I figured it'd be impossible, but if we allow ourselves to fall out of the dungeon, then we can throw a strategic bomb, and because of where the wall died, we can claim its loot. It's not really necessary, but Livestream Chat said this move was permitted just like the falling out of the dungeon earlier, and I think it still fits the spirit of the challenge. If the wall had died any farther away from the hole that I had made or from the dungeon, then it would have been too bad. Besides, in order for this run to even be possible, you need crazy RNG. All this does is make things a little bit nicer. It does that by breaking this demon altar for palladium. Unfortunate, since we already fished up half the cobalt we need for a pickaxe, but I guess we'll have to work with it. As I went to grab Spelunker potions, something unexpected happened. A blood moon. There still isn't a lot we can collect because we're far from ready to take on any blood moon enemies, but there are 2 weapons we can get that'll be a massive help.
Nimbus Rod, thank you. Killing deck from the wizard. Yes. Oh yeah, I forgot this whole time I could have been spamming ram runes. I am now invincible. Raw! See, even that tortoise tried to sneak up on me, didn't work.
We resumed fishing before finding the palladium around the dungeon. We still need 1 life crystal from a titanium crate, or real crates can get us a blizzard in a bottle, and of course there are the ores we are searching for. Plus, here we can farm tundra enemies for the frost staff, icicle, and frozen turtle shell. The goblin scouts we also are sure to farm because they have only a 1% chance of dropping tattered cloth when you spawn them using a statue, so it's going to take a while. We've gotten a tiny amount of hard mode ores and bars, but mostly we're getting pre-hard mode stuff.
Air's getting colder around you. Thanks, because I need that. I don't think we could possibly beat Prime with our current loadout, but maybe?
Utilizing the challenge, we didn't do terribly, all things considered. It's still a long ways to go, but that's what hard mode bars are for, to upgrade our armor. We need to take down 1 mech as well before we can simply purchase old one's army armor, which we need to be sure to fight off so we can get the upgraded sentries when the time comes.
Dude, Anchor actually being a goated weapon I was not ready for that.
Mobility is one of our weaker points, but the traveling merchant happens to be selling something that could change that.
Roller skates. Actually, that might be really useful.
Now, let's finally see what kind of ore we can find around the dungeon. We can't mine it with our tungsten pickaxe, of course, but we can craft hard mode bombs from the cobalt we got while fishing.
Oh, it doesn't blow up. Oh, I thought that would destroy dungeon brick. Okay, that's a surprise. Good to know.
Finding a few veins, we are able to make a stronger pickaxe and finally mine through dungeon bricks. While mining around, we actually found a spider cave in the middle of this whole labyrinth. I'd rather not play summoner, as I'm not sure there are any other summoner things I can find, but it's theoretically an easier armor to get. But there is one problem.
The spider armor does require a mithril. Oh.
That's a change they made in 1.4.5, which means we still need to fish before we get the armor. But no time to mourn, because at long last...
Life crystal. Life crystal! Life crystal!
As you can tell, I was just a little excited to finally reach 200 health.
The goblin army at long last. Give me some goblin sorcerers. Give me a shadow flame knife. That would probably be the best thing we could get from this. There we go, shadow flame knife.
You might not know this, but in classic mode, these warlocks only have a 50% chance to drop anything at all, and neither of the other ones that I took out dropped anything. So we really got lucky with the one we did get.
Okay, goblin. Oh, he's here. He's right here. Real easy like. Just don't kill him, you guys. Get out of here. Okay, finally. At long last, and we can reforge.
Yes, I should have kept some of the extra sailfish boots I'd fished up earlier because I need 2 of them to get the amphibian and spectre boots, but we'll be fishing more anyways. How much fishing, you may ask? 6 hours. What did it get me? Enough Kobold for full armor, enough mithril to make a chest plate, and exactly enough adamantite to make a forge, which of course we can't do without a hell forge. I did get the tsunami in a bottle, so at least I could make an upgrade there, and I did manage to get 1 more life crystal, but since 6 hours barely got me any of the mid-tier ore, or well, anything else for that matter, I think we'll stop fishing and see if we can make do with this. First things first, we're going to need to make a few new biomes underground.
I need to just buy all the hollowed seeds, because despite like 5 hours of sitting, like leaving the game open, the hollow didn't spread, I think, a single block.
I don't know why this isn't spreading naturally, but we got seeds to make this work and get ourselves the underground hollow. But as long as I'm standing around these dungeon walls, we're not going to get a lot of the hollowed enemies. It doesn't matter either way, skeletons and hollowed enemies both drop the souls that we need, but I think spawn rates will be higher if we mix the two. We can also set up some housing here for another handy pylon, and a shadow candle will keep the spawn rates high.
Oh, we got pirates. Wait, actually, that could be nice. There's several drops we can get from them that would be helpful.
They didn't drop a single weapon, and we didn't get a single flying Dutchman. Not sure why, but hey, we beat the pirates. The next biome we set up was the underground jungle because we'll want this to be extra long and large to increase the odds of a Plantera bulb appearing here. Finally, we'll start the corruption, which will end up being a much larger issue than I thought it would be, which was weird too because we slept a single day away and the few seeds I planted spread quite far, so I added some more dirt for it to corrupt. For whatever reason, that was the only instance the corruption would spread fast, and after this, it barely moved. Another reason I decided to start sleeping, so hopefully we could get a blood moon and just purchase all the corrupt seeds we could ever need. And nearly a whole day-night cycle this time, it hardly spread a few blocks. The jungle is doing well though, having grown enough to make it a jungle biome, which means we can set up a 4th pylon in the dungeon.
I never thought I'd have so many pylons in just the dungeon.
We'll sleep and then farm for souls of lights in the meantime, as well as farm the spider fangs necessary for a queen spider staff. I also figured out that the top of the dungeon was close enough to space for harpies to spawn, meaning we could get wings. There's just one issue.
I didn't think this through, because I said that we could only really take 1 jump off of this thing. And now we're killing all the wyverns too far away. Wait, we have to kill them at the right spot. Great, we got 2 wyverns, and then the debuff damage killed them out of reach. No!
I think we'll be fine without wings for at least 1 mech. We can buy the jetpack from the steampunk after we defeat one of them.
Orange Zappinator?
This is going to work out real well because I realized I forgot I'd already made a palladium chestplate, and so I could get full palladium mage armor. And after an enemy dropped a prime summon, I figured we could at least take out 1 mech.
Let's do it. Use a shadow flame knife whenever we run out of mana to recharge. Focus the laser. That'll probably do the most damage to us. Make sure to hit it with the frost burn periodically. Man, I don't have good mana regen at all. It's so sad. No mana regen potions. Maybe I shouldn't be playing mage. All right, there we go. We got 1 hand. Dash out. Okay, I think we got this in the bag. Just don't scuff it. Just hit the hands hard. Hit the hands hard to get rid of them, and we'll be good. There we go. Just the head. Zappinator action. Boom.
Killing Skeletron Prime is huge. There's almost nothing we can craft that'd be particularly beneficial with the hollowed bars, and with no Souls of Night, we can't farm Prime or Destroyer for bars. So we'll hang on to the bars until I can think of the best use for them. And good good thing too, because I did think of one that would be particularly helpful. With one mech down, we can get the second tier Old One's army gear, and with that, we would benefit from a mixed mage summoner build. After a half hour of farming the Old One's army, we purchased the apprentice armor set.
Flame burst, field of view and range, or dramatic. Oh, okay, so I need the flame burst to pair well with this.
Flame burst isn't my favorite. I wish you could choose another staff to do with your armor set, but oh well.
Is it finally corrupt enough for... No? Really? Really? We need souls a night, darn it. That's the one thing that's holding us back from progressing further.
With the arrival of the steampunk, we can spread the hollow much easier. The reason for this is so crystals can start growing, so I can craft the metrical harp later. We'll also turn our surface corruption into a surface hollow, and realizing the crystals might need some space to spawn while still being within the reach of the dungeon, we created some space. But considering there aren't a whole lot of upgrades we can get until the corruption appears, I guess the twins being the only farmable boss means we should give them a shot.
We should have lots of passive damage with this. Start on one far end. All right, we gotta do really well at dodging. Oh, forgot to drink my potions. Oh, no. Okay, we're already not doing great. Not a fan. Let's hit them with some debuff action. Not great, not great. Can't get cornered. Ah, not good, not good. No. Ah.
That's why I was avoiding the twins. Not only are they the hardest mech for me personally in most runs, but they are typically the ones that require the largest arena, and our dungeon area is much less than what I'm used to. But I think I learned a little something that'll make them easier to handle.
If we keep it more in the middle, we won't get cornered. We need you to... Okay, good. Okay, we can deal with spaz. We can deal with spaz. Just so long as we don't run too far away, I guess. Oh, no. Oh!
It's not looking great, but the jetpack is now being sold. Maybe its faster vertical movements will push us to victory.
Again. Okay, jetpack is going to be a very big help. It's not good as that fire is going to get way too close. Gotta go through it. Okay. Oh, no. Oh. Ooh. Come on. Heal. Okay, good. Okay. Don't leave. Okay. Oh, we didn't leave. Oh, we got it. Yes!
I continue to be really happy about my decision to do this in classic mode.
That was really tough.
Corruption still isn't done, so we sleep.
A hollowed key? You're kidding!
I just realized I've been very stupid. There's stone outside, and we have vile powder.
There we go.
At long last, we have the souls to make a destroyer summon and take out the final mech.
All the mechs down, the jungle grows restless. If we were lucky, we have a Plantera bulb already in our jungle.
Of course, nobody is that lucky, so we'll just skip past the next 50 minutes of gradually expanding the jungle and sleeping while watching the map for bulbs to appear.
We got one! Let's go! Wait, did I actually summon my summons? I don't think I summoned my summons. Let's get these guys in here. There we go. Oh, back through. Didn't rage, that's the important part. We'll get the debuffs going. There we go. Easy money.
This is where the game becomes very theoretical. I managed to get a single teleportation potion in the dungeon. In theory, if you were the luckiest man on Earth, it could teleport you to the jungle temple on the first attempt, thus never leaving the dungeon, if we count the jungle temple as a de facto dungeon. Teleportation potions require fire blossoms to craft, so we could never craft more of these unless maybe we get one of the herb bags with fire blossom seeds. Again, it's all RNG, and nobody in their right mind would get to this point in progression and let the entire run hinge on this 1 in a million teleportation pull. But let's pretend you are the luckiest man on Earth, and we count the jungle temple as a dungeon adjacent location. Assuming you never get any fire blossoms and only found the one teleportation potion like me, you'd have exactly one chance at defeating Golem, and pretending I didn't already lose a battle, dying at the same time as Golem means I wouldn't get any of the Golem loot this run. Now we'd have a hard mode dungeon, and after farming for quite a while, not a single dungeon spear spawned, which is really weird, but we couldn't get Spectre armor anyways, because I haven't seen any chlorophyte in my personal jungle at all. It'd probably appear over time, but I put my efforts into something I felt was more reliable in farming, the Old One's Army, or the 3rd tier armor set.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, all the cultists. They're partying with the NPCs. They're all friends.
Of course, Betsy didn't drop any weapons that matched our build, but that's fine. It's classic mode. This setup will still work to take down the final boss from inside the dungeon, the cultist.
Hey, solar pillar. Solar pillar. Can we take out one pillar? Question mark. Where is the pillar anyway? Oh, it's right over there. Oh, dude, we can take out one pillar.
Sure enough, with some funky damage from the orange Zappinator, we were able to clear the solar pillar. But that's as far as we could theoretically go while following our rules of staying in the dungeon. I hope you enjoyed the video. This was an extremely difficult challenge and a fascinating experiment to run. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, then subscribe and watch this video where I beat Terraria as a mage with only 1 mana.